Welcome back to TrueNAS Tech Talk. This week, we're doing a special episode with a focus on installation. We're going to be talking about the two different methods you can use to install TrueNAS on your machine, the classic version from the console or command line, and then our new one powered by TrueNAS Connect from the web. Both methods give you the same result, TrueNAS installed on your local machine and ready to begin storing your data. Stick around.
All right, welcome back. Welcome to the TrueNAS Connect main interface we have up on the screen here. You can see from Chris's setup, this is obviously a place where you're going to reach out and use to administrate your existing or your soon-to-be newly installed TrueNAS system. So this can be reached on the TrueNAS.com website where you go, you log in with your OAuth provider of choice, and away you go. But if you're just getting started and you're here checking out how to do the installation of TrueNAS, it's kind of the same process whether you're going to use this Connect method or the traditional old school CLI method. You still need to go to TrueNAS.com. You got to download the ISO. Once you've grabbed that, there's going to be a process to go burn that to a USB stick. Pretty typical if you've ever installed virtually any Linux these days. But once you have that process done, you got the USB stick in hand, we're pretty much ready to rock and roll. Of course, you can go fire that up, attach a keyboard, mouse, monitor. I guess you don't really need the mouse, but you can go ahead and do the installation through the classic CLI, or we can go and do the demo showing you how the TrueNAS Connect installation is going to look from this side. So let's take it away here, Chris.
Absolutely. So we've already got the system there behind me, which is booted up from a created USB device and booted there and is just waiting. You'll be able to see it in the background if you can kind of look behind me. I'll see if I can adjust my camera. Yeah. And I'm just going to hit the button to tell it to start detecting.
Okay. So Chris has gone ahead and hit detect system here in the UI. It's gone ahead and discovered the TrueNAS on his local network, ready to begin the installation. Here we go. I can see he's naming it T3 TrueNAS. It shows you what version it's running. You shouldn't have to change any of these. The port, all that stuff's good. We're going to go ahead and hit confirm and begin the installation.
Yeah, and notably, there is an option to use a public IP, and we do have a big caution there that says, please don't do this unless you know exactly what you're doing.
Yes.
You'll still be able to reach your system through TrueNAS Connect, even if you don't click that checkbox. So we'll just go ahead and click confirm and carry on with our installation.
Excellent. Okay. So I'll let you kind of drive this in the background here, Chris, while I explain some of the technical side of it here. So the first thing people say is, oh, it's a cloud service. Does this mean you're connecting on some cloud service and TrueNAS, the company, can see what's going on with the installation and data passing back and forth? Well, the answer is a big fat no on that one, and very intentionally so. So what's actually transpiring is the connection is entirely taking place between your TrueNAS system and your web browser all over your local network. There's no relay, there's no proxy, there's no man in the middle. We don't want to be the man in the middle. Everything is taking place directly, so you can be assured any credentials, other things you set up are safe, good to go. And then in the background, as part of the setup, and you can see why it says it's initializing here, one of the very first steps we do is we're making sure your system gets set up with a proper, valid TrueNAS issued SSL certificate. So using Let's Encrypt as the background. A lot of folks do that these days, works great. But we want to ensure that at the end of the day, everything's done over valid certificates, not just using self-signed ones and all that good stuff. So that's what's going on here initially. Once the self-signed certificate is issued, we'll be ready to rock and roll. And then it's just pretty much a next finish. Okay,
yeah,
great.
And you can see here, it's found that system now. It says you are ready to get started. So we'll go ahead and hit that continue button.
Yeah.
We need to just give ourselves a password here.
Think of that as the adoption process. So the system's now been adopted. It's available on your local network. Certificates have been set up. Life is good. And as you can see, Chris is making a password.
Yep. It'll give you the prompt to create a password. That's step 1 of 3. Step 2 of 3 is just choosing which disk I'm going to use in here. I'm going to use my little 120 gig boot device that I got in there, as opposed to the couple of 480 gig SSDs. We'll hit review, and it just says, hey, your admin account's going to be named TrueNAS_admin, just like the default. We're going to install it to this one drive, the single one SDA, 120 gigs, and it's giving us a little warning, says, hey, we are going to overwrite those disks. If you are concerned that you might accidentally select the wrong one, there's no harm in disconnecting the other drives or only inserting your boot device at this stage of TrueNAS, just to be safe, especially if you're reinstalling on a system that might already have data on it. Then we're just going to hit the big green button to say install the system.
There you go.
And that's it.
Man, there were so many steps there, Chris. It's so complicated. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty like you said, it's pretty much a next finish, and off
Yeah.
it goes.
No,
So
literally. That's how I described it to the team when they were designing this. I was like, it should be as simple as next finish. Password disk, go.
yep, and that's pretty much it. It can select all the rest of the defaults for you logically, and you can see it's slowly extracting it there onto that disk. So
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
just keep talking about it here in the background. So while it's doing this, Chris, while it's doing this installation, some people were concerned, saying, hey, again, it isn't this like a cloud managed service. What's actually at a technical level really going on inside this window here on the left where it's talking about installing,
Sure.
or even the one where it's showing my existing system, my Mini R, on the right?
Sure, sure. So it's a little bit of a shame we can't see some of the screen behind you in the background, but you see the text installers actually up and running on Chris's screen and the monitor behind him there. So all that's really happening is after we've discovered the TrueNAS on the network, we've used MDNS to find it. There's a defined host name, and as long as it's reachable on your local network, which for most home labs, yes, that's going to work great. Your laptop and your TrueNAS are typically going to be on the same subnet. You're going to be able to discover it. And at that point, all the communications between Chrome, your browser, or whatever, Firefox, whatever browser of choice, and then the TrueNAS system that's booted in the background. We're basically setting up the connection using REST and a combination of WebSockets in the background. TrueNAS Connect did that initial handshake and adoption process, which was just setting up a valid certificate so that we can ensure anytime we pass the credentials when Chris entered his password there, it's all being done over encrypted sessions, all that good stuff. And then at that point, it's just issuing calls saying, go ahead, set the password, set the username, select the disk, and begin the installation, and then stream the feedback. And then in the background, you can see it already finished. I didn't have enough time to even explain how it worked before it wrapped up there. It was good.
Exactly.
But
It's going to
very
give you a little
straightforward.
warning. Yeah, gives you a little warning check here to say remove your USB media. I think we'll see if my EFI here is actually set up properly, because it should realize it now has a bootable operating system,
Okay.
and it will just jump into that. So I'm going to check off that I removed the USB media. If you're not confident in your system, or you're not sure, or you just want to do things the right way instead of me having to get up from my chair here, go ahead and pull the plug, hit the reboot button, and we'll let it go there. So you can see
Sure.
the system has disappeared. You can see behind me, it's gone black. It's rebooting. It's going to go through its boot process, and then it will phone in, and we should be able to see it show up on my TrueNAS dashboard shortly.
Yeah, absolutely. So where is this method convenient? Well, again, not all the time do you have a system where you have a monitor and keyboard just sitting handily nearby. So in our home labs, we do sometimes, but there's situations where I'll have something in the closet here, it's just put away, and it's like, oh, I gotta go drag a monitor out to go plug it in, see what's going on in the console, because maybe that system doesn't have IPMI, for example, as a lot of homebrew boxes do not. So this is where it becomes very convenient. And at the end of the day, it skips you some additional steps of not only connecting in over the command line or IPMI and doing console method, and then having to go set up certificates and all that stuff with TrueNAS Connect after the fact. By doing it through this method, it's already been adopted. You already have valid certificates, meaning the very first time you log into it ever, you're already connecting in over valid host name, valid certificate, all that good stuff. The security side of it's just been kind of solved behind the scenes for you. You don't even have to think about it, which in 2026 is the proper way to install a web-driven program and appliance like TrueNAS, where you want to do everything over valid SSL certificates.
It's not like anybody's really concerned about security these days or anything, right, Chris?
Can't imagine why. No,
No.
not at all. Not at
No.
all. But, if you're setting up your system and you plan on storing your private information, your photos, your who knows, whatever you're storing on your TrueNAS, you probably do take the security somewhat seriously, or you should, and you should probably start it that way out of the gate. So again, it's a good option and convenient and a great way to go ahead and get set up. And we can see on the screen here, it looks like it's already found the system. So it did boot into the live system, Chris. That's awesome. And in the background, it's getting it set up for the first connection to TrueNAS Connect. We'll give that a minute to wrap up. Now, of course, if you go, do you use the CLI method? That's the same tried and true method we've had since dinosaurs roamed the earth and back when TrueNAS was known as FreeNAS. It was very BSD Unix-like back in those days. Still works absolutely fine. And for anybody who asks, no, that method's not going away. There's always a reason to have that available. But again, sometimes convenience is more important, and you get all the little nice bells and whistles. And I like not being bothered to have to go, drag a keyboard and monitor out. and plug it in, or have to move the system, worse yet, because it's in a rack or it's somewhere in my house where it's just not convenient to bring the system to the monitor or bring the monitor to the system.
Yep. Or you're running such a densely packed home lab or something that you're out of power plugs again, and you don't want to daisy chain another power bar off of them and create a fire hazard.
I have done that too. Been there too.
But may or may not be guilty of that myself. And hey, there we go. It's now connected live. It's asking me to enter those credentials that I did just when I started up. So I'm going to go ahead and put in TrueNAS admin, my super secret password, and I'm even going to add it to my existing keyring so that it'll be there the next time I join in.
While he's doing that, let's talk real quick about the keyring, because this may be somebody's first foray into TrueNAS Connect. So we have this idea of a keyring here, and I can see your bit warden caught it there. Awesome. But on the TrueNAS Connect side, again, we took security very seriously when we designed Connect, because we don't want to have to trust a third-party cloud service either with access to our precious TrueNASs and our data. That's just how we roll. We're, in fact, I'd say more paranoid than most of our average users. So that said, in the Connect side, apart from just helping discover and locate the system on the network, all the actual critical, anything sensitive, any data that matters is always being directly served from the TrueNAS to your web browser, and not with us, the company TrueNAS, in between. There's not a cloud service, and we're not proxying data in between us and then eventually to your web browser. These are all direct connections being established directly from web browser to the TrueNAS. So what does that mean? Well, that means a couple things. Is you need to make sure the system you're connecting to is on the same network or routable. So in other words, if you want to administrate TrueNAS through Connect, you need to be on a VPN so that you can reach the TrueNAS, or on the same network so you can reach it. However you set up your routing, that needs to be done. The keyring specifically is a neat little feature we added to Connect, though, because especially for larger, more enterprise setups, we see a lot more TrueNASs. So your typical home, maybe you have 1, 2, 3 TrueNASs. That's not too untypical. Usually people will have one at least, of course, and then a second for a backup. Maybe there's a third because you're doing some experimentation, or that's the new system and rig you're building out that eventually one of the other two is going to migrate over to. Cool. But what happens is when you have 100 TrueNASs in the system and registered and connect, you want to go manually put passwords in for each one to log in and connect to them each time. Do you want to save those to the cloud so we have your password to store for you? No, you don't want to do any of those things. So we created the keyring, which lives entirely browser side. So that's all kept encrypted. You have to unlock it with your password, entirely browser side. Again, I don't want to see your encrypted keyring or any of that good stuff. It operates the same way as Bitwarden would or LastPass if you're familiar with any of those password managers. But yeah, very secure way to say I unlock once, I have access to my entire fleet of TrueNASs, and you're a way to go, rock and roll.
Yeah, and even on now on browsers and operating systems that support it, like Mac OS, I understand it will even use, like if you're in Safari and you say I want to store my keyring, it's going to use like the secure elements of Mac OS as well to power that, to say, hey, that's really locked down. Nobody can see it. So again, it's one of those things where if you create that keyring password and you forget it, well, I mean, again, we can't help you here at TrueNAS. We could say, well, you can erase it and start over, but we can't recover that. We can't see it. And again, we don't want to have to see those kind of things.
That's by design. I don't want to have a way to recover it, because if we can, it means somebody else potentially could. So if we've designed it in a way where we have no access to it, then nor does a nefarious attacker potentially.
Exactly. And if I just hit open the TrueNAS UI there, it's just going to take me over into here. And you notice I didn't have to enter anything. I didn't even have to click a Bitwarden login. It just said, hey, I'm going to bring you in here, and it's going to pop me into the TrueNAS dashboard. It's probably still populating because this is a very fresh install. Doesn't know what it's doing, but hey, it says I can go ahead. I can get my pool created. You know, oh, look, there's some test data on there that I've been using before, and all kinds of fun stuff like that. Why don't I go ahead and just erase that? We'll make a quick mirror. We're going to make it out of those. It's too wide. Let's just save and go to review, create the pool. Oh, did I forget to name it? It does help to have a name, yes. Does help to name the pool. All right, let's save it, go to review. We'll create it. It's going to warn me again. I'm about to erase all these things, but hey, that's fine. Judging by the name of one of those pools was called Smart Fail, I think I might have thrown some failing disks in there just to see what would happen. So we'll see if it yells at me. But there we go. It's all set. Everything's okay. Pop on back to the dashboard and it's populated up. It's still thinking about things, trying to go, hey, how much exactly is in here? There you go. We're working in the background to generate your data because it doesn't really have any historical on there. This guy hasn't even been up for 10 minutes, but
that's how quickly I was able to.
That's how quickly I was able to do that installation.
No, that's excellent. But you can see you probably would have spent more time downloading the ISO and burning it to the USB stick than the actual installation took at the end of the day. So
I'm pretty sure it took me longer to drag the thing into the middle of my floor and put it somewhere where we could see it in the background.
I'm sure it did. Well, I hope this has been helpful. Again, if you're just beginning your TrueNAS journey, this is a great way to get started. Feel free to go ahead and use this. Drop us comments, notes. If you have any suggestions for improvement, we always love to get that feedback from our users, our customers, our community. And yeah, happy TrueNAS, and this is good stuff.
Exactly. I mean, so this has been it's been a quick little demonstration. Hey, and for doing it live here, it's gone remarkably well. We can say that now because the installation is finished.
Yeah. Hey, one of the perils of doing things live, but in this case, it looked great. It worked great, and it was quick. So good job, Chris. It's neat to be able to see it again over your shoulder happening in real time too. Good touch.
No Photoshops, no trickery, and no AI was used in the generation of this video. So
you're not going to smooth out my face or something? Oh, okay. Well, we'll do that maybe next time.
No, get makeup to do that for you.
Okay,
it's all on them. So thanks again, everybody, for tuning in to our quick video about TrueNAS Connect and getting yourself set up with TrueNAS. Again, if you have any questions for us, some feedback, comments on the podcast, on TrueNAS Connect, or on TrueNAS itself, please feel free to reach out to us. We got our email, which is t3@truenas.com. We have our community forums at forums.truenas.com. You can always find us in the comments section below or on any of the other social medias for TrueNAS. We'll try to put some of those in the description as well, so you can follow us, give this video a like, share. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing to us. And Chris and I will see you again next time.